Right. So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us in our live today. Today, I'm joined by two lovely boys from the industry. I'm very, very lucky. Philip and Neil, welcome to this live broadcast. So,
Thank you.
today, as we promised in our marketing leading up to this, we're going to talk about the Network Plus. Some of you might have heard about us, others, for other people, perhaps this is a new concept. But the Network Plus is made up of three organizations. It's us, schools and agents, Philip from fRilingue, and Neil from Edex. So before we get into, the whole concept of the Network Plus, Philip, would you like to introduce fRilingue to those people watching us today?
hmm Yeah, so fRilingue, we do summer camps in Switzerland. We do ski camps in winter. Our very special things are the small groups of six. That's kind of our specialty, that we always have only six kids in a class. We have been running for 13 years now. We started mostly in Switzerland and became international, or started to go to the fairs only 5 years ago. And now we have about 1,000 kids per year that come to our different camps. We have a camp in Serbia as well. My business partner that started to work with me 6 years ago full time, and is a partner as well. He's from Serbia, so we have a camp in Serbia as well. We tried for a while in Russia. Yeah. And recently we really invested a lot of time in our ski camp and winter season. Yeah.
And that's probably the one that you're most famous for. Because by default, whenever we think of Switzerland, we think of mountains and skiing. So, right, Neil, on to you. We'll give the word to Ireland now. I feel
Yeah,
like
well,
I'm in
look,
Eurovision. if Corinne is watching, she'll be very proud of us right now.
so my company is Edex, Education and Exchange in Europe, and we're predominantly high school. So we bring students in from around the world in September. Normally they stay for a term or they stay for a year, and we basically do everything in between, get them into schools and things like that. We have a new company, Edex Abroad, which will probably be announcing some things with schools and network at some stage in the future or in Travel Plus, but we're working on that at the moment. Um, I mean, this kind of thing. This is our first live broadcast. So the big news for us is we've gone live today. But yeah,
There you go. And we're very happy to be sharing it with you.
and that's
Okay.
us in a nutshell, really.
Okay. So the idea of the Network Plus started with Philip. When Philip approached Lynn and myself, it was a Study World event. I forgot how many years ago. Was it four, Philip? 4 years ago?
I would say it was 216. Yeah.
4 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
time flies. So 4 years ago, Philip came to us with this idea, which I have to admit we immediately liked. But Philip, I'm going to ask the question to you. Where did you get this idea from, and how did it originally start, so to speak?
So, as I said, we started to go to the fairs only about 5 years ago. My first fair was, I think, end of 2014 in St. Petersburg. So I really liked the fairs. I really liked this international environment, and especially this inspiring meetings. Especially what I really liked was the meetings were okay, but what I really liked was the time in between where you could exchange ideas with schools and agencies. We are actually agency as well. Maybe I should have mentioned that as well. We started then about 2010. We started to send people abroad as well, and so on these fairs you always learn so much. You heard what's happening on the market, what innovations are there, what trends are happening. So yeah, I really liked that. And the other thing was that we had our new chalet at the time, and we no, actually that's not true. That was before. But the other thing was that I
Yeah,
was,
it was before
yeah,
because
that's true. I was a ski teacher when I was in university, and I always loved skiing, and I always liked to have guests as well in Switzerland and showed them skiing. So I felt like it would be really cool to bring people over to Switzerland and do a ski event together, where you have much more time than on these fairs. That was a bit on the fairs. I always felt like, wow, of course this other business meetings, they're good as well, but you don't have too much time in talking about a bit the informal part,
Yeah.
or like a bit about this more business development things. And
Hmm.
so I felt it would be really cool to go skiing like 2-3 days or even longer, where you really have time to exchange ideas. And what's very special about our industry is that you have uh, schools and agencies from all over the world that have quite similar situations in their countries. So yeah, I talk with the Turkish agent, and he tells me, look, we did this and this, and it worked very well, and which is afterwards very helpful for me. So it's great to exchange ideas. So that
Yeah.
was actually kind of, yeah, the
Yeah.
idea. And then I felt like, wow, who could be interested in helping us to promote this idea? Or and then I felt like you guys would be a great partner for this, as you have a big publicity. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and it was in fact, and it is also how Neil decided to join us, because he actually attended one of the Skier Network events. But the whole concept was that yes, we both Philip and Lynn and myself kind of started this discussion about how interesting it is that, for example, when we're traveling, I don't know about you guys, but Lynn and I have had our best business ideas whilst attending events, because you find yourself in a place with like-minded people where you're talking, you're networking all day, and you kind of come up with, you get inspired. I think that is the word. You get inspired.
Mhm.
And it is something that the Network Plus has really helped us with. And I think it is something that it helps a lot of people in the industry with. So much so, Neil, that you asked to join us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Was it last year or the year before? I'm losing track
no,
of time
I met
here.
Philip. I think we started doing the workshops, the main Alpha workshops, in about 3 years ago, and I met Philip at that, and he was telling me about their chalet and things. So I think three weeks later, I was in Switzerland at one of the events, and I loved it. I mean, it was just. I mean, I like talking to people all the time, and this gave you the opportunity to have I would say trapped audience, but but everyone was there. Everyone had the
Mhm.
same ideas, and it kind of motivated you because everyone in this industry has a similar kind of outlook on how things should be, and you want to bring some fun into that as well. My philosophy is
Yeah.
life is short, so you need to be doing something you enjoy, and
Mm.
these travel plus events are really enjoyable, and you get to know people really, really well. It's not even just the business part. I mean, I
Yeah.
follow you on Facebook now, and I see you doing your kind of the triathlons and things, and it motivates me outside of work.
I
And
do not do triathlons,
yeah,
by the
really,
way.
really. But again, and you see other business people who are doing similar things to you in work. I mean,
Yeah.
Philip inspired me to take on maybe a new challenge here in Ireland, which we're working on. And you get inspiration from people. And then if you're having a problem, you've met these people at one of these workshops, and you develop a bond. You can ask them different countries. You
Yeah.
can ask them things. I mean, I believe in
Hmm.
helping companies. In Ireland, it's a small country, and we all help each other to a degree. And I think that should be worldwide. And I think every company in this kind
Yeah.
of industry should be there to assist. If someone is struggling, you help them out, especially these days. And then back to the thing. Uh, yeah,
Exactly.
I liked it so much. I was kind of a bit on tenterhooks and kind of hinted that I might like to join. And then I joined. We had our surf and network in Ireland, and it was good. It was really, really good
Exactly.
fun. And it was
Exactly.
my first event ever organizing.
I was talking, yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday. Actually, it's a it's a college in the US, and I
Mm.
was obviously telling them about this, the Network Plus things that we do. And I suddenly got very sad because I remember that this time last year we were getting ready to come to you, Neil.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I got a little bit nostalgic. But yes, so it developed. It started off with Ski and Network. We did our first Ski and Network, as you said, Philip. It was before you guys got the chalet, because the
That's
first one we did, we were in the hotel in Les Ans. I
true.
hope I said that right. Did I say it
That's
right?
right.
Lezo.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, the first time round we were there, and then we moved to the chalet. So we kind of, it's what I like about this is that you discuss growth, you discuss business growth with your partners, and you see you're part of that growth. You see them growing, and it happened with you, Philip, and your chalet, and also with you, Neil, and
Yeah.
the fun things you're going to do. We also had, before you joined us, Neil, we had a dive-in network in Malta. That was also great fun. Um, so yeah, the whole concept is to kind of get off our chair. I think that's what we always discussed. Getting people off their chair. We spend way too much time sitting down. We are suddenly, especially in this last year, becoming very health conscious. So I think the whole point is to get people out of their chairs and to get them, like you said, Neil, to get them to discuss business related topics in a relaxing environment. This is how I always present the Network Plus. It is a place where people discuss business, but in a relaxed atmosphere. And speaking of discussing business, we also have things planned for future. I mean, we started developing in the last Ski and Network event. We had talks about social media. We had talks about SEO, which Corinne did. Hi, Corinne. She's here watching us. So Philip, again, this mainly came from you. You are kind of the mastermind behind all this. Why these kinds of discussions?
Uh, yeah, as I said before, I think it's very good to exchange ideas, to see, to hear what other people do. I think this inspiration is, yeah, what helps you to create new business opportunities. But yeah, it's what I like. I call myself entrepreneur. Like, I mean, I started my summer camps. I started some other small businesses, and that's what I really like about business. To when you have an idea, and then out of an idea something happens. Now, like,
Yeah.
it's really something wonderful to observe, and it's a great thing. And I guess most entrepreneurs have this. It's much less about money than about just creating something, and you feel
Yes.
suddenly like, wow, what happens? Yeah, and I think if you exchange ideas, that helps a lot. No, that inspires a lot. Yeah, and but also in everyday business, this exchange exchanging with each other helps a lot. No, also about
Yeah.
quite profane things, about how
Hmm.
to find better teachers, how to do with your bookkeeper, whatever. If you ask people, uh, I mean, they can be from the same country or from another country, but it always
Hmm.
helps. I remember our
Exactly.
social media discussions that we had always on the events. They were always very helpful, because it's something you the books that are written about Instagram or whatever, they're
Mhm.
not very accurate.
And
They're
it's
already past
also,
once you
and
read.
it's also, if I may interrupt you for a second, that whenever I mean, we have all read books about Instagram, we have all read books about social media, we've done courses, but our industry is so specific
Hmm.
that what generally works for Facebook in one industry doesn't necessarily work for Facebook in our industry. It
Hmm.
is the same when we had the conversation with Corinne on SEO, and I'm mentioning her because, by the way, she has come up with another idea. Corinne wants to do Eurovision and network. I don't know if you guys are seeing
I
this,
saw
but
it.
Sorry, I
but
didn't
we
understand. Who wants to do?
might Eurovision and
Aha.
network.
You haven't heard me singing.
So we might see, Corinne, we're discussing this. But yeah, I mean, back to the topic. It's one thing if somebody from outside the industry is doing your SEO. It's another thing if somebody from the industry is doing your
Mhm.
SEO. With
Mhm.
social media, we sit down every time. We discuss what we're all doing. We share ideas. We share best practices. We're not afraid to share what goes wrong because we know that we are in a group with like-minded people who are going to help us improve. So So this is definitely not about competition in any way. This is about, and again, it's what I like most about this. It's about helping each other grow. And
Mhm.
I also remember the discussion we had with Ryan, Philip, with Ryan from Spain.
Mhm.
Well, he's from
Mhm.
America, and he lives in Spain. He lives in Madrid, and he had come to give us a talk about the marketing funnel. You know,
Mhm.
funneling your message. Another super interesting talk, which helped us
Mhm.
very, very
Mhm.
much. And his advice is advice that we still use nowadays when we are coming up with our business messages. So they are little things that people are doing in between, you know, one slope and the other, or in between skiing and having dinner. So we're fun, we're relaxed. I mean, we spend days in leggings. So, you know, we don't do that normally. But when you are at these events, at these, you know, at these get-togethers, because they're not, we don't even call them events, we call them get-togethers.
Mhm.
It's a relaxing environment, and I think people get their best ideas in relaxing environments. So, moving forward, Neil, are we coming to Ireland again for surfing? What are we going to do?
I would, if our plans go ahead, I would say in 2 years we'll have a good base for something in Ireland. But we're leaving that
Nice.
for a while. I'm looking forward to Switzerland again at some stage, but I would love
Me
to go to
too.
Malta. I missed the Malta event, so well, I've been stuck
Yeah,
in Ireland,
it's true.
been in
Yeah,
Ireland for
perhaps we
9 months.
should do one in Malta.
Yeah.
In, you know, once all of this is over. I missed skiing this year. I was, and I'm telling you, I don't know how many people I told that I've missed skiing this year. So the next one up, you can sign me up already. I'm definitely going to be there whenever it's going to be. But
Okay.
yes, I think the ski and network will continue.
Yeah.
Am I right, Philip? We
Yeah,
will
sure.
continue to
Yeah.
we will
I mean, as
continue to
soon as
do that.
if next winter we can do something, then obviously we will do something. March. I mean, skiing shouldn't be a problem at all.
Mm.
They closed actually the ski slopes in Switzerland in March as well, which was for me totally exaggerated. But the traveling might again be a problem. But I guess it's pretty probable that it will be possible in next
Good.
March that we can do a ski work. Yeah.
I'm keeping my fingers. You can't see my toes, but they're crossed as well. So yeah, it's so ski and network coming up in March. We can think about definitely doing something in Malta. And again, to all the people watching us, if you have any amazing ideas about, you know, things that we can do, about places that we can visit and activities we can try, that is the Network Plus. It is all about visiting great places, doing great activities with great people, I think. And that kind of summarizes the whole thing. Moving forward, because this is something that we also discussed last time, I don't want to go into too much detail today because we will be launching something innovative in the coming weeks. But the social media discussions that Neil, Philip, and I were talking about, the SEO discussions that we were talking about, whilst we're waiting for the pandemic to finish and whilst we're waiting to be able to meet all of you face to face, we are going to carry on with that on our live broadcasts. So Philip will be able to do his famous Google AdWords chat. So we will also do our social media. Corinne, I'm inviting you from here. You can do your SEO one because that's always a winner. People love that. So we're always open to these kinds of suggestions. I don't know, guys, if perhaps Neil, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the conversations that everyone has and the questions people will have, it's very interesting because our social media, we run it very unprofessionally in a way because we try and make it very light, but then we use different platforms for different things. And I think it's very informative. And that's why one of the things I liked about the whole Network Plus event was you hear so many different ways of doing things. Like Philip, Google is his thing, he knows it inside out.
Yeah.
Whereas we would be more kind of dabbling in and out of things a little bit with no real plan. That's why Corinne, yourself, Philip, it's so good. And I think a lot of agencies would be like me, that they know the basics of it a little bit and what works for them, but
Yeah.
there's so much out there that you don't know. And these kind of events will give you nuggets of information. You may not want the whole thing, but you will come away with nuggets of information that will help you.
Exactly. And again, even in our case, we don't really know a lot about Google AdWords, but we've always learned a lot from Philip's talks about it. Same thing with SEO. So it's always about, I believe, having an open mind
Yeah.
and being open to learning, not believing, that we know it all and we do it, our way is the best way. I think that is very much old century now.
Mhm.
It's the
So
difference.
Philip,
That's the difference.
I'll give the conclusion to you as the
Like
founder of
you
this.
mentioned it too much. I don't know if you want to make a big surprise for people, but yeah, like I think
You do
we can already
realize
tell.
we're live.
Sorry.
I said you do realize we are live now.
It's
So
not about the
if you're speaking about a surprise,
Uh,
now's not the time to talk
no, but
about. Yeah, no, no, tell us.
now regularly that we can talk about different topics in the future, no? And I mean, it's also something we said it would be interesting to talk with everyone what are the needs for people, no? But I really feel it would be great to have regularly talks about a different topic. Yeah, for example, social media or how to find your summer camp teachers or different topics, and then people just can join the different topics, and we will propose them. We say on this date we talk about this topic, and would like to also in our Facebook pages announce them or ask what do people want to talk about, and do it regularly. That's something we can do now in the pandemic. We can do also in the future, still regularly once a
Mhm,
week or so, which can be very helpful. No, I tried this with our young agents. We started it as well, the young agents, young educator page. I started it sometimes that I had a question and I felt like, how do other people do that? And
mhm,
put the question there, but normally didn't go too far. So I think obviously if you have a business, every now and then you have a question, you're like, how could I do that best? And for example, just how to make a new website for your company, or should you have, if you have different schools, different websites, whatever. No, there's so many questions. Uh, and our goal now that we discussed now is that in the future we can talk about questions, maybe more open questions or maybe more
mhm,
closed questions, and discuss them, and they can be public. For me it would also be good, they don't even need to be public, I mean. But whatever, yeah, like and I think that is very help for me, that is very helpful. Of course I can also just call Neil and say like, hey, how do you do that?
mhm,
But
mhm.
for me always, the more people you have, the more the better the result, no? Obviously if Neil is an expert in one area, that is already great. But if you have three or four, we are all kind of experts in many areas, no? So if you have many experts, you get afterwards a great picture about the whole thing.
Exactly.
And I guess that's something that we really would like and should
Mhm,
establish, that yeah, that would also afterwards continue after the pandemic. That's what we basically during our events. We do that the whole day long, no? When I'm at the ski and network, the cool thing is when you ski, you go once with this guy to the ski lift, then with this other woman you
yeah.
have a chat in the restaurant. That's what we always did, no, like small talks. And I
Mhm,
thought like, oh wow, this person has a very interesting background, I would like to have
yeah.
a longer chat with this person. And then we had these panels where we kind of discussed about one topic, and that's what we can also do without
Mhm,
even meeting, although it's obviously then only professional. When we have our
yeah.
meetings in the network plus, it's much more fun as well, and it's relaxing and a cool
Mhm,
time. But yeah, but
yeah.
it's super helpful, yeah.
Exactly, but right now it's not necessarily possible. But yes, to latch on to what Philip said, because I have a feeling he disappeared. He must
I
have
lost them as
clicked.
well.
I still see you. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see
Oh,
you. But
that's
it's
Under a very
okay.
big tree, I think.
Exactly. So you're probably hidden. But
no.
in any case, we have come to the end of today's discussion. But yes, as Philip was saying in his big surprise announcement,
You know
we
what
are
it is now.
going
This
to
is the surprise part.
we kind of gave it away very nonchalantly. No, we are going to carry on with this. And what we will be doing, which is what we discussed in our meeting last time as well, is we will be launching polls on our different Facebook pages and in the different industry groups to hear from you guys the topics that you want us to discuss. And then as we move forward, we will figure out the way, not, I mean, we know the way, but we will tell you how we're going to do it, how we are going to have these meetings for these people who are interested in having discussions about particular topics. We will record these meetings and we will share them with the rest of the industry. Because, guys, this is what the Network Plus is all about. We are not competing with anybody, and this is something that we have said from the very beginning. We just want the industry to grow. And I think there is no better time like the present for our whole industry to come together. We've all been through a hellish few months. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of businesses having to close down. Those of us who are still here, let us just help each other grow and let us just help each other get through all of this. So I think, guys, we can stop this here for today. I thank you all. First of all, I thank Philip and Neil for the interesting discussion. It's always fun with you guys, even if it's online. So thank you very much for being with me today. And to those who have joined the live session, thank you for your comments. Thank you for your feedback. And we hope, like we always say, to be able to see you sooner rather than later. See you guys.
Take care.
All
Bye
right, thank you.
bye.